I am Supreme. Today is May 10th, 2025, and this Astro Oracle investigation is going to be on a missing child, Patrick Alford Jr. Okay, Patrick Alford Jr. was a 7-year-old back in 2010 who was last seen January 22nd, 2010 in Brooklyn, New York, in a community called Starrett City. Spring Creek Towers were the names of this building project that he was last seen in. It is a huge project of about 46 buildings. Okay, high risers too. These buildings had about 30 to 40 floors each. Okay, 130 Vidalia Avenue was the building he was residing in, which is where he was last seen at. D2 is what's on the front of that building. Um, I guess that's how they section off the buildings. I was able to go on Google Earth and walk around that area, get some energy from just looking at that area. If y'all know anything about us oracles, all we need to know is really what happened. Like, when's the last time you seen it? Was it a boy or a girl? What's the age? So the more information we have, the more energy we have to work with. Okay. But I have a lot of information, more than usual. So I'm able to tap fully into, the energy so I can get a much more accurate reading. Okay. On that day, January 22nd, 2010, um, Patrick Alford Jr., he is a foster child at the time. He was living with his foster mother, Labrada Laron. Okay. Um, Patrick's birth mother, Jennifer Rodriguez, and his birth father, Patrick Sr., who was later, like a couple of years later, he got shot in his head. I believe he survived, but he is now paralyzed. Okay, but both his parents are still living. We don't know if Patrick Alford is still living. That's going to be the purpose of this reading. Try to get as much information on Patrick as possible. Okay, I have both of my candles lit, my zodiac candle lit, my protection candle lit. Both of these candles send a light signal out to the etheric realm, letting the spirits know that I am officially clocked in with the intention to connect to the soul of Patrick Alford Jr. Whether he is alive or dead, the soul is eternal. That is what I tap into. Okay, whatever information I am not allowed to get from Patrick Alford himself, I will get from the planets, who are the ancestors of creation of this solar system. Those are our ancestors. The sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Those are our ancestors, our parents, our aunties and our uncles. Okay? Sisters and brothers, all of that. Okay? Everything is energy. Okay? So I'm tapping into the energies, the frequencies, and the vibrations to be able to locate and contact Patrick Alford Jr. to find out what happened that day, January 22nd, 2010, in Brooklyn, New York, in Starrett City. Okay, so according to Labrada Laron, which was his foster mother at the time, her and Patrick he was accompanying her while she took out the trash from her apartment down the hall into a trash chute. Okay. A trash chute is like a garbage disposal, which resides on every floor, mostly in every building, because I'm from New York myself and I'm from the projects. So I know what a trash disposal is when it comes to living in the projects in these high-rise buildings. Each floor has one. It's normally at the end of the floor. But this building, these are some big buildings in Starrett City. I know about Starrett City myself. I've had family that live in Starrett City. So these buildings are huge. These buildings have about 30 or 40 floors each. And they are wide and they are long. So their garbage disposals might be in the middle of the floor, because I have not actually been in that particular building in Starrett City, but I've been in a project in Starrett City because I've had family that lived there. So he was accompanying his foster mother to the trash chute somewhere outside of their apartment door down this long hallway. Um, However, while they were en route to this trash chute, the phone rang. So the foster mother ran back into the house to go and get the phone, to take the phone call. And apparently that was the last time she saw her foster child, Patrick Alford Jr. I guess when she came out, we're not sure whether Patrick followed her in the house. I'm quite sure he probably didn't. But of course, she left him in the hallway, went back in the house to answer the phone. We don't know how long that phone conversation was. So we don't know how long it took her to come back out. Okay, but when she came back out, she could no longer find Patrick Alford. She shouted for him. She looked for him. Nowhere to be found. He was never seen again. This 7-year-old child at the time was never seen again. The last outfit he was seen in was a red t-shirt, blue jeans, and some Jordans. So that's giving me energy too. Red and blue. So I do have that information. The fact that he was 7 years old, he was a biracial child. He was mixed with black and Latino, Puerto Rican. He was born November 28th, 2002. So I pulled the planetary alignment of November 28th, 2002. And I also pulled the planetary alignment of the last day he was seen. Okay? And these planetary alignments are going to assist me in locating where he's at. What happened? Patrick Alford Jr. Okay? So I'm going to be pulling from a lot of decks that I have in order to complete this investigation. I have about, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got about 8 decks that I'm going to be pulling information from. Okay? All of my decks are designed to serve me. They are self-created. They are spirit inspired by all of the ancestors. I didn't just write random shit on every card and just put a whole deck together. That's not how you do that. Okay? There is a pattern that involves these things. This is a spiritual art and craft. You know, if you would like a personal reading with me, you can reach out to me, my email in the link below. There's also a link to a tutorial video, Astro-Oracle tutorial, where you are able to go to that video and click on any sign, symbol, house number, planet that you see me talk about in any of my videos or any cards that you see me pull, so you will see how I'm formulating my story. So you can see for yourself, raw and uncut, how information comes through. Okay? I am a high-ranking channeler and oracle. Okay? All right, Patrick. This card that I'm going to pull right here is going to let me know what chart he's going to be assisting us with. Aries in the 11th house. Okay. Now, this is a very ironic card that was pulled. Okay? Because in the day he was found, the day he was last seen, okay, the sun was in Aquarius and the moon was in Aries. Okay? And this is the exact card of the chart that is supposed to be pulled for that day. Y'all know how I formulate my charts. This video, I was going to go directly, I was going to formulate everything from the cards. I say, you know, I'm not going to do I'm not going to pull a chart from the actual time. I'm going to actually solve this case with just pure intuition and allow my gift to come through. Okay, we're going to go from that chart, raw and uncut. Okay, however, you can see for yourself that the way I formulate my charts is the same exact chart that's being pulled as if I was going to pull the time. Okay, so intuition does not lie. My intuition does not lie. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting reading. Aries in the 11th house. That is when the moon in Aries is put inside of Aquarius's house, which is the season that he was last seen in. So when Aquarius is in the 11th, I'm sorry, when Aries is in the 11th house, that is a Gemini rising chart. Okay, this is a third house chart. Okay, a third house chart, utilize my tutorial. See, Aries and 11 generates a third house chart where Gemini comes first. Now, this chart right here, when it comes to somebody being last seen, the last day somebody was seen when this chart is pulled, that means that they are in the local environment. Okay, they did not go far. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, I'm going to put this chart up so you can see it for yourself. Of course, I'm going to have it in front of me on how I get information so I can make enough room for these cards to be pulled. Okay, so the spirits are already showing up and showing out. So while I'm pulling the rest of these cards, I'm going to be, okay, we're going to pull a crime. Okay, we're going to pull a crime. And then we're going to talk about these alignments. Now, when Gemini is rising, okay, this is a chart that lets me know I need to look inside of the local environment in order to find him. Okay, the last day he was seen, he did not go far. That's why they never really found him. He was in his local environment hiding. Okay, whatever took place that day. Um, and I'm about to tell you because according to his birth chart, his sun was in Sagittarius. Okay, and his moon was in Virgo. Okay, so this lets me know that he may have been hiding out inside of somebody's house. Okay, or he may have been hiding out close by some type of, he may have been hiding out like in a park close by somebody's trash bin, like them trash areas. I feel like he was in that building. He didn't leave that building. There are other people who he know in that building. He knew where to hide. He has hiding spots. Okay, he knew where to hide in that building. Yeah, he knew where to hide in that building. And he wasn't alone. He wasn't alone. Okay. He wasn't alone. Um, Mars was in Leo. Okay, Mars was in Leo that day. And because I'm looking at where Aries is in the 11th house. Okay, that is the house of the individual. Okay, and Mars rules Aries. So Mars is in Leo is in the third house. This is a third house chart. Okay, so he was hiding out in the local environment. Okay, he linked up with some other children that day. There's another person that he linked up with that he knows where they live at. okay? And he went to their house. He was last seen at their house. Somebody's not talking. Yeah. Somebody's not talking. This is a crime. Religious abuse in the third house. Okay? This is a third house chart. And for this card to come out, religious abuse, when I look inside of the ninth house, which is the house of religion, I see Aquarius. And that's where the sun was. The sun was in Aquarius the last day that he was seen. Okay? Um, somebody was hiding him. Yeah, somebody was hiding him for some money. And how I know that is because Mercury, which is the planet that rules the third house, is in Taurus, which is in the house of hiding. Taurus is in the 12th house. That is the house of hiding. So when Mercury is in that house, when Mercury is in that house, is in the 12th house, that means that whatever is hiding is going to be manifested through the sign that's in the 12th house, which is Taurus. So this is about money. Yeah, this is about money. And this particular money that it's about is about the family. This may have been an inside job. This may have been an inside job because I see Cancer, which is the energy of home and family, inside of the house of money. When I go to the lost and found, I see a body of water in the first house. If he's not alive, I believe that he died that day. And he can be found in the body of water in the first house, which is where Gemini is. And that's the local environment. And Starred City is surrounded by a body of water. There is a large body of water right there at the bay of Starred City. And his body is in that water. His body is in that water. But how it got there, somebody put it there. This was somebody that he ran to for help. And they didn't help him. They abused that help. Somebody that he believed in. But it's also somebody that they would never think to question, that he ran to. I'm going to pull this Who deck. When this video is over, I'm going to pull up the body of water that I'm talking about by Starred City, and I'm going to post it right here. That's the body of water that surrounds Starred City. So if he's dead, that's where his body is. That's where they put the body. Now, of course, the body travels when it's in water. That is where the body was disposed at. Because energy doesn't lie. A body of water in the local environment. I'm also seeing a school. I'm seeing an elementary school that's by a body of water too. This may be linked to the same body of water, but I'm seeing an elementary school. This could be somebody that he was in the elementary school with, whose house that he ran to. Somebody that goes to the same school as him, they have answers, they know. But they're not going to think to question a child. And I believe that their parents were at work that day. And he ran over to that person's house. And if the child wasn't home, the parents were. And I believe that these parents were people that he could believe in. Look at that third house again. The conspirator is in the third house. Yep. We got to stay in that third house. This is my deck of who. I believe I showed it to you before I pulled it. This lets me know who's involved. So definitely we're staying in this third house, as you can see for yourself. The conspirator is in the third house. I knew that. Yep, that is what my spirit is showing me. I'm going to pull some evidence that's going to, yeah, they said they questioned thousands of neighbors. They said they did. That's a big building. That's a big community. They said they questioned thousands of neighbors. But somebody knows. Okay? And it's one of the neighbor's children that know. It's not who they think it is. The people that they've questioned, um, the people that they've questioned were like, older, responsible civilians. But what they were overlooking is that it wasn't the responsible civilian that knew. It was the children. It was the child of a particular neighbor that they've already questioned. Look at that. And this is my evidence deck. Still in the third house. Digital evidence and documents in the third house. This is a phone call. This digital evidence and documents, which is the evidence, is in the third house. Was this a setup? So Patrick This phone call happened when Patrick and his foster mother was going out to the trash chute. So far, that can be digital evidence that we know of, but there was also phone calls that day. I also saw on how I found out about this case. I was looking at somebody's channel on YouTube channel, because that's how I find out a lot about my cases that I investigate. I search for cold cases, cases where no answers have been found. And I do my own investigation on these cases, because I want to be a part of the crowd of people that are helping, and I use my gift to be able to help where there are no answers. And on that particular video that I was watching, um, she was saying how she did her own investigation, but she didn't do it how I'm doing mine. She just was broadcasting the story. Um, Me, I'm going into the spirit realm with the information that I'm getting about the stories that I hear about. So she was saying on her YouTube channel that, she was like, well, I don't know, maybe somebody gave him a phone, maybe somebody was communicating with him, and they gave him a hit. But I'm like, a 7-year-old, back in 2010. But I mean, it wouldn't pass me because that was during the time where kids did have cell phones, back then. I mean, like back in my time, we didn't have cell phones at 7, back in the 80s. Okay. But 2010, I could see that. I could see a child having a cell phone. I can see that. So digital evidence and documents. There could be some writings, okay? Because the third house also represents school too, okay? There's a lot of digital evidence and documents that they'll find clues with phone calls, tracing back phone records of whoever had a phone in that house. He probably used somebody's phone when he went to this other child's house and used their phone. If they can find out whose phone he used to make these calls, because they said he wasn't stupid. He knew exactly where his real mother lived at, out in Staten Island at the time. And he knew how to get there. And he knew their phone numbers and all of that. And I believe that. I know that. Because when I was 7, I knew how to travel on a bus by myself too. Being from New York. I am from New York myself. I don't live there anymore, but I am from Brooklyn, New York. So we definitely knew how to ride the bus and the train that young. Okay, we knew our way around the whole entire neighborhood. We knew how to come home from school, and our parents wasn't even home yet, but we knew how to come in the house, lock the door, don't answer the phones, don't answer the door for nobody. We was home alone at 7, 8, 9. So it doesn't pass me by that this could have been how it happened. He ran to somebody else's house who he knew was home. But how he got to that water is making me believe that the child wasn't actually home. The parents were. Somebody's parent knows something too, but also somebody's child knows something too. Because if he's in that body of water, he didn't get there. Ain't no child taken to that body of water. If it was some teenagers. I see some assault too. I see sexual assault. This is my deck of Look at that. A male minor under 18 in the third house. Yeah. Somebody that's responsible for his disappearance is somebody who they least expect. It's a minor. There's no coincidence. Energy doesn't lie, y'all. There's no coincidence that all these third house cards are coming out, and this is a third house chart that we're speaking from. Everything in the third house is coming out. This is the deck that I use to find out, to narrow down the description of the who. The conspirator in the third house is, I pulled that from my who deck. But when I want to narrow down who, what kind of conspirator are we talking about, I go to this deck. And this narrows it down. And they both third house cards. So this conspirator and this male minor under 18 has more information than anybody they have ever questioned. And this person lives in that building. And I believe this person was also the one responsible for sexual assault. This may be somebody that, I mean, I don't know if he went to church. This is somebody that he met, whether outside playing or somebody in the local environment, somebody that was a lot older than him. Because I know it's a male minor under 18, but they're definitely older, a lot older than Patrick Alford. Y'all see, I keep looking down right for the names because I'm speaking energy right now. Yeah, this was somebody definitely older than Patrick Alford. And they're all in that third house. They're all in that local environment in Starrett City. Starrett City has the answers to what happened to Patrick Alford. It could have been somebody drowned him in their tub. It could have been that. It could have been somebody drowned him. They probably beat him unconscious and they drowned him in his tub. I'm seeing that. Sexual assault. I'm seeing that. This deck right here, this small deck is going to give me some letters and some numbers. I'm trying to say, we looking for a name, an apartment number, an address. We know for sure it's somebody in their local environment. For sure. The third house also represents travel too. And I know that when they had that dog that sniffs out evidence, the dog sniffed out Patrick Alford's scent at the bus stop, which is also in the third house. Public transportation. So whoever picked him up or whoever he hitched a ride with, whether it was the bus driver or whatever, made him feel like they were doing a religious act. We'll pull 3. 1, 2, 3. We have E, P, and the number 5. The letters E, the letters P, and the number 5. E, P, and the number 5. This person that was a lot older than him, but is yet a minor, plays a very significant role. They know more information than anybody knows. They got information. He ran to somebody's house for help. And instead of helping him, they killed him. They drowned him, whether in their tub, and disposed of the body inside of that large body of water in Starred City, but he was drowned after he was sexually assaulted. Yeah. And this could have been a foreigner as well. This could have been a foreigner as well that did this. But it's definitely an older foreigner, somebody older than him that he can trust. Well, that he thought he can trust. Somebody that either represented the mother side of the family's energy, which is the Puerto Rican energy, or somebody's family that represented the father side of the family that was African American. Sorry, I don't want to touch this mic. He ran to them so that they can help him, and they destroyed him. They abused that. Religious abuse in the 3rd house. They probably abused him because of his race, or because of something that he stands for that they are against. And it was somebody that he thought he could trust, because Mars was in Leo, and Leo was in the 3rd house, and this is a 3rd house chart. And Aries was the first card pulled in the 11th house. This was somebody who he thought was his friend. And Mars was in Leo, which was the friend that he thought he could trust. But because Mars was retrograding in Leo, which is the reason why he thought he can trust his friend. but this friend was really an enemy. And that was the perfect opportunity for this friend to conquer Patrick. And he did. And he conquered Patrick to the point of no return. So he had to hide the evidence. So he figured he'll destroy the evidence. I definitely see sexual assault. Definitely. I definitely see sexual assault, molestation, because this is a minor. You know, Patrick was only 7, but this minor was under 18. You have teenage predators. You have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old predators on this earth. All races, all walks of life. Never underestimate a person's predatory ability or predatory state due to their age, due to them being underage. You have 10-year-old predators that molest babies. This number 5, this letter P, this letter E, yeah, that could be the floor that he ran to. It could be the apartment number that he ran to. It could be the building that he ran to. It could be the bus that he got on. This P and this E could be the letter of the person's name, or the letter on the apartment door. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. If you'd like a personal reading with me, reach out to me in my email in the link below.